So we are back like we never left. Oh, I'm not streaming on LinkedIn. Let me see. Add LinkedIn to the stream. Save changes. I don't know what's happening. Let's remove. And then let's add LinkedIn. Facebook. Let's save changes. Now live on Facebook. I don't know what's happening to LinkedIn. Okay, can you confirm that we are live on LinkedIn? The other time, I think we had some bit of lag time. So if you come to the chat, let me know if we are live on LinkedIn. I think we are not live on LinkedIn yet, and we need to be before we get going. Let's add LinkedIn. Okay, add. Add to LinkedIn. Well, technology has been nice to me these 2 days. Trying to be sure we are live on LinkedIn. Let's see the comments. I see that we are live on YouTube. So I see Fortune joining from YouTube. Can someone check if we are live on LinkedIn? I see Facebook is live. Let me know it's not an error occurred. Wait a moment and then try again. Okay. Let's remove this. Okay, welcome everyone. Now we are streaming live on YouTube and streaming live on Facebook. I'm going to try again to get us on LinkedIn, but we will have to keep going. We have to keep moving forward. So before I go too far, I'm going to play a quick video from the alumni community while I'm figuring out the streaming from LinkedIn. So let me play a quick video.
Believe it?
What have I signed myself up for? I can't believe 3 weeks have flown by so fast.
Another milestone achieved by me. Congratulations. I'm so excited for myself.
Hi everyone, Oroluwa here.
I am so excited. It's day 20 out of 21 in the cohort 14 Elevate Your Professional Presence with Dr. Amaka.
When I first heard about the Elevate Your Professional Presence by Dr. Amaka on LinkedIn, I thought it was going to be just another LinkedIn visibility challenge.
It was a transformative experience for me.
We were stretched, we learned, and we grew.
Right from mastering the art of content development to strategic engagement and positioning myself as a thought leader in my field, it has been a wonderful learning experience.
I can say that this program wasn't even about posting. It taught me accountability, discipline, showing up every single day.
This was a real coaching program.
This program can be a game changer for you if you're seeking to elevate your presence and position yourself better for opportunities on LinkedIn.
What I signed up for was just to be visible on LinkedIn. What I got was coaching, life coaching in growth, finding clarity, purpose, and how to keep doing better.
I wouldn't lie, the challenge stretched me. It pushed me way out of my comfort zone, and I definitely got to the point where my body and my mind were itching to go back to my comfort zone, but I pushed on regardless.
Thank you very much.
I'm very much grateful.
I am really, really grateful.
Thank you, Dr. Maka Ifeduba. Thank you to ScholarUP Mentoring Academy. I'm a proud alumni and I'm happy to be here.
We are going to go into the last panel for the day while I keep figuring out why we are not live on LinkedIn yet. But we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook. You can join either of those platforms. So our last panel for the day, I see them at the back of the stage already. This panel will be led by Dr. Ellen Sheris. She's right here. She's a medical doctor in the UK. And then the panelists we have on board is we have Dr. Sumayya, we have Ma Ibironke, and then those are the two people I see at the back of the stage for the panel, which will be talking about women breaking barriers, reclaiming brilliance at leadership. So we have Dr. Ellen leading the panel, then we have Dr. Sumayya and Ma Ibironke. So Dr. Ellen, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Amaka Ifeduba. And I welcome you, my panelists, to this beautiful session. And with me today is Dr. Sumayya Al-Mansur and Ma Ibironke Semowo. It's nice meeting you at this lovely August meeting, I would say. So if you just allow me, I will quickly have a run through, just to introduce you and tell our whole audience who you are. And starting with you, Ma Ibironke. So Ibironke Semowo is a mindful parenting educator with over 15 years of experience supporting parents of young children. She is the founder of the Parents Lounge, a virtual community that helps busy parents to raise confident, thriving children through intentional parenting. Known for her practical insights and warm, relatable approach, she empowers parents to navigate modern-day challenges with clarity and connection. Through workshops, online programs, and community gathering, she creates safe spaces for learning, reflection, and growth. Her mission is simple: to create transformative spaces that helps parents show up with presence, purpose, and peace. Ma Ibironke, you're welcome to today's meeting.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ellen. Thank you.
And next on my panel is Dr. Sumayya Al-Mansur, who is not a stranger or a visitor in my own space. I can almost talk about her with my brain off. Dr. Sumayya is a medical doctor, a public health communication strategist, and graduate student passionate about advancing high health equality through strategic messaging. With strong background in clinical practice and community engagement, Dr. Sumayya bridges the gap between medical science and public understanding. Dr. Sumayya currently focuses on research and practice that enhance behavioral health effectiveness with health communication in underserved population. Dr. Sumayya Al-Mansur, you're welcome to today's talk show.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ellen. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So, talking about women breaking barriers, reclaiming brilliance, and leadership. Ma Ibironke, you have built a career across HR, education, and parenting. How did you find the courage to step away from the corporate world and redefine what leadership means for you?
Thank you for having me here, ScholarUP. It's amazing to be here again on the second day of the Ascension. Now, straight to that question, Dr. Umoh. This courage that we talk about didn't come like one big moment, a big shocking moment. They came in small series of nudges telling me that there was something I needed to do and it wasn't going to happen while I was in the corporate sector. So I had to start redefining leadership for myself, not as in the strategic way that it is often thought of in the corporate world. My background in HR, management, and administration taught me structure, it taught me strategy, and it taught me people skills. And all of these things I needed to also do well or thrive in this new space that I have found myself in the past 10 years. It is in education and parenting that I have found the kind of leadership that speaks to people, that speaks to society, as opposed to just speaking to hierarchy and structures in the corporate world. So stepping away from the corporate world for me was simply choosing alignment over daily performance. Before, for me, I felt like I was performing to be seen. I was performing to move up the ladder in the corporate sector. But now this redefining leadership for me in this sector means that I'm able to influence families as micro units of the larger society. And I've come to see that role as very important for me. I'm learning the skills I need to thrive and to help in that area as well. But I cannot discountenance what I learned in the corporate sector that is helping me now. Now, leadership for me means influences, connections, and the kind of future that I want to see.
That's lovely. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. It seems you moved from the corporate world where you try to please people or to show up for people to a place where you now discover yourself. And that's truly amazing, taking that challenge and courage. And now to you, Dr. Sumayya. Society often measures, public health leadership can be very intense, especially for women like you who are trying to balance multiple roles. What internal barrier did you have to break to lead with confidence?
Wow, that's really a lovely question, Dr. Ellen. So when we're talking about barriers, I think the first is, I want to be honest. So the first is barriers will always be there. Barriers will always be there. So, I'm still young, so sometimes I feel unseen. So that's one of the barriers. Like, you feel unseen and you're still growing, and confidence has always not been that magical switch that I'll say I'll just turn on every time. I'm naturally introverted, so people who know me outside my workspace know that I like to be alone. So being in public health, which is often loud, demanding, and public, is like stepping out of my own skin. So, and I'm also navigating the world as a visibly Muslim woman, which people sometimes put you in a box. Before you even open your mouth, someone already has a perception of you. So they decide the tone you should have, the confidence level you should carry, and even the appropriate amount of space you're allowed to take. So the biggest, I think, internal barrier for me was actually giving myself that permission to step outside that box, to be more than what people assume of you. But I think one thing I acknowledge always, and I'm grateful for, is I have been blessed with role models who made that that internalized barrier was made easier. And one person is my mom. My mother is a very confident, brilliant, and exceptional woman. So growing up, I watched her walk into spaces with this very quiet, confident, and brilliant authority. And I remember thinking every time I see that, well, I don't really have a choice. I have to learn to do that too. So seeing confidence modeled early made it for me to feel it was possible, even when it doesn't come like naturally. But honestly, I think confidence is a work in progress. I tell people all the time, it's not about there's that absence of doubt. No, it's a decision to show up, whether you're showing up scared. And sometimes it just feels like you're faking it till you make it. You're not faking it in a dishonest way, but in a way that lets you to step into a version of yourself that you're trying to become. And working in the public health space, it's intensified. And so it's a lesson that confidence is a work in progress, because you're working in a high stake environment where you're making decisions not just for individuals, but for communities. So you're speaking for people who are often unheard. You're entering rooms where the power imbalance is very obvious. So I had to learn that waiting to feel confident was a trap. So action builds the confidence, not the other way around. So the biggest barrier is even having that idea that I needed to be perfect, I needed to be polished, or I needed to lead in a loud way. So now I have acknowledged that, and I lead with my introversion, and I lead with my identity, my full identity, with my voice. And I've also learned that there's space for all that, and the journey is just starting, and we're growing, and we're going to become and learn on the process.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Dr. Sumayya, for that lovely response. From all that you said, I could tell that most times the struggles are not external. There are things that, you know, that are inherent to us, from being an introvert. And, you know, sometimes you even struggle with imposter syndrome, like I'm not going to be able to do this, or I'm less than perfect, and what the society also demands from you, you know, and, you know, putting all these together and fighting it with the help of mentors and people who build your confidence to be a better version of who you are. All right. Thank you so much for that lovely one. So Dr. Ma Ibironke, back to you. As a woman leading in family and education spaces, what barriers did you face in being seen and heard? And how did you turn those moments into growth?
Okay, when I stepped into this new role, the first thing I noticed was that as a parenting advocate, as a teacher, my influence was seen as soft skills. If you had to rank the skills on a ladder of 1 to 10, with 1 being the softest, you will be putting people in my space on 1, thinking that our work is more emotional than strategic. Meanwhile, nothing can be further from the truth, because we are the small unit that drives families, and families drive society. So if we do not do this work that is considered non-strategic or soft categories, then we will be having larger problems in society. So every time I'm overlooked or considered unimportant in the scheme of things, I look to families that I have helped, lives that have become different, children who have become more connected. I look to the learning spaces that have become healthier to the children I work with. I look to those families who come around and tell me that I'm doing better in this because of something you taught. I look back to teachers who I have trained at some point in time in communication skills, having better communication with parents, and schools and home are having better synergies to the advantage of the child. So when I am faced, that was the major barrier that I have faced since moving from the glass offices and the 4-inch heels and the long hair extensions into my trainers, a pair of joggers, and a t-shirt. I have seen that people assume erroneously that your work is purely emotional and not strategic. Thank you.
That's that's enough demotivation, I would say, for someone
Yes.
who doesn't have the grit, or who doesn't have the confidence to continue with what they are doing. Because parenting and education, they are strong leadership role, I would say, because the people who we have to deal with are going to model after us, and the
Yes.
evidence is palpable. You can see the result instantly. You can see this child, is the child doing well or not? Is the parent happy with what they've gotten from you or not? Well done, my Ibironke. And then for your next question, Dr. Sumayya, you specialize in communicating complex science in ways people can understand. How can women in leadership use communication as both a tool of influence and inclusion?
And that's a great question. So, communication is a powerful tool for everyone. And so, but then bringing it back home, I look at effective and empathetic communication as my own most powerful tool. And that's not because I'm the most emotionally intelligent person or I talk more than everyone, no, but because I have learned how to make people feel included in the conversation. So, as women, we are born leaders because of our nurturing nature. So, communication becomes like our superpower. Most times, we are forced to explain things always, not because we want to, but if we have kids, we'll always come down to their level, the 101 time every each day, and say, okay, please, let me explain this so clearly that no one pretends that they didn't understand me, kind of thing. So we'll say one thing over and over. So I think women naturally communicate in a way that brings people in. We tend to listen deeply, sometimes too deeply. We pay attention to what's not being said. And most times we also understand context. And that makes our communication not just influential, but also inclusive. So for me, and when you see that, you would see that most influential and world leaders, they're not loud. That's why most of them are motivational speakers, quote and unquote. They are those ones because they always make you feel capable, and they have the most inclusive communication tools because they don't simply dump down information down on you. They simplify it. And for me, I look at that as respect because it says I respect you enough to ensure that you truly understand what I'm telling you. So, women, when we embrace our innate powers, we should be using our communication to we should use our voices like to open doors and not use our voices to intimidate others. We should communicate clearly so that people can trust us. Try to communicate with empathy so that when you're communicating with people, people feel included. We're communicating with courage. And even when we're nervous, so it's natural. Sometimes we get nervous, but then we show up so that others feel that their voices matter too. So these are some of the things that I have learned, that our words don't just influence decisions that we make. They also shape the culture of every room that we enter. So our voices should be very bold, should be authentic. And so we should also lead in a way that we're lifting people, we're making spaces for others, and we're bringing others along. So I think that's is leading with equity and using communication effectively.
Wow, what a beautiful time to be a woman. How else do you want us to glow with pride, knowing fully well that our inherent capability put us in the forefront of leadership, isn't it? And
Yeah.
the fact that we are able to understand people and act to drive change, is something that every woman should learn to make use of, that default setting, that inherent quality, to make other people a better version of themselves, while we also make ourselves, the best we could be. All right. Mrs. Shemowo, if you're ready for me, you have helped hundreds of parents and children navigate confidence and learning. What does authentic leadership looks like in a world where it's often overlooked, as nurturing, like in a world where nurturing is often overlooked, like a soft skill, if I'm to say.
Thank you. Right now, authentic leadership to me is the courage to lead with humanity, especially in spaces where nurturing is considered softness. Nurturing is not softness. And this is what I have learned working closely with parents and children in the past 10 to 12 years. It's shown me that leaders who create the most lasting change, and there is no change that you can quantify that is as deep as the change of raising the next generation. It is a very expansive impact because we live with it for a long time, and we expect that that generation leans on it to raise the next one. So nurturing for me, it's not a weakness as much as people see it. People seem to think that parenting and education, maybe when you don't want to do the hard lifting, you can just go into that place. It is a lot of work, and it's a multiplying force. That is what drives me. I see the ripple effects of what I'm doing, and I see how it shapes communities in terms of family. I see how it shapes societies. I see how it influences future generation. And if there is any leadership that is more authentic than that, I would like to be schooled on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Which means, in a nutshell, what you are telling us is that nurturing is power, isn't it? Yeah. All right. And to be honest, that is the truth about it. If you are able to nurture somebody, to change the person's perspective of life in whatsoever direction, that is a powerful tool. That's a powerful opportunity. Remember children who are deviant, they were nurtured by someone who sent the wrong message to them. And then things go wrong. So if you think that nurturing is not power, is purely emotional, I think you are the one that needs to be schooled and get it right. All right, back to you, Dr. Sumayya. So
Yes.
Many young women, including myself, aspire leadership in health and research, but feel unseen. What advice will you give them on showing up, even when recognition feels distant?
I think I have to breathe first before I answer this question. So I'm going to be very honest. I still feel young too, and I still feel unseen sometimes. So this is not me preaching from a mountaintop. This is more like an advice to myself, and I'm sharing it out loud. So feeling unseen is very hard. It's heavy, and it's something that a lot of us will not a lot. I think everyone actually will experience multiple times in our careers, in our relationships. So we've all had those moments where we're working so hard on something, we're showing up for everyone, doing all the things, and there was just silence where maybe you wanted to be acknowledged. There was no acknowledgement, there were no applauses, no recognitions, nothing. And in those moments, you're even wondering if it even matters, or why am I even doing it in the first place? So that is but here's what I'm learning, not what I have mastered, what I'm still learning. Being unseen doesn't mean that you're unworthy, or it just means that you're in a stage where the seeds are on the ground. You're just like a farmer, so you're sowing the seeds. Growth is happening, but not everyone can see it yet. So you're in that, and it's good to always look at our lives in seasons, different seasons for different things. So I think my advice would be both to myself and other young women: keep showing up. I think that's the first. Keep showing up, even when no one seems to notice, because it's that consistency that builds your identity. Another thing is document your journey. And I'm not talking about LinkedIn documentation or for social media. No, document your journey for yourself. You need to see your own progress on the days that you doubt it, and ask questions, even when your voice shakes. Honestly, my voice has shaken many, many times, and those moments grew me more than even the ones that my voice was confident. Then stop waiting for validation before you begin anything. Wanting validation is not bad. We are human beings. We love to be praised, but then it's also very unreliable. So what should drive you should be purpose and not validation. Another thing is do not shrink. Even when shrinking feels easier, sometimes we just want to like stay in our comfort zones. Always don't shrink. Look at it that people will always catch up to your value eventually. So what matters is that don't lose sight of that value, you yourself. So people will always catch up. And then another thing that this is very, very personal to me, is surround yourself with people who see you. I mean, see you, really, really see you. People who cheer you loudly without jealousy. Um, I'm a very, not quiet, but then I have a very small cycle, but then very intentional. So, and I'm very honored that one of my cheerleaders is the moderator, Dr. Ellen. So sometimes and I'm talking on a very personal level now, sometimes when Dr. Sheris talks about me with other people, I actually get scared, because I start thinking, I hope the people won't be disappointed when they finally meet me after hearing all she has said about me. So I think people really need those kind of people in their lives. Someone who those who believe in you, and their belief actually stretches your perception of yourself. And another thing is, in as much as so there's this common saying that Gen Zs used to say, aura for aura. So if someone lifts you, let your light lift them too. So be surrounded with those kind of people that their energy is good, but also as they give you good energy, please give it back, so that it's not one-sided. Be that kind of person for those. So be the same person. Like the energy you're given, you should also replicate it, basically. So yes, this guidance is not for young women. It's just a reminder for myself. And if I can just add, as they will say, Jara on top, when you're also, I think one thing is, when you're looking for something, okay, for our families, we just get born into families we can't choose. But when you're getting into like a relationship, pray and marry right, be in a relationship with the right person, because they will help you grow, they will help you glow. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sumayya. I think you've turned this question into a little bit of an emotional thing that everybody should pick every single sentence seriously. I think the bottom line is you should be kind to yourself. Be very, very kind to yourself. Don't hit yourself too hard. Do not wait for external validations. People are watching whether you do good or bad. And once the time is right, those people will show up. Someone will tell you, if you remember, there are some times when you want to quit and somebody will say, but please don't quit, because I am hinging on your energy. I am hinging on your energy. Please don't quit. You didn't even have idea that people were looking at you. One quick example is when I used to post very well on LinkedIn, and I went off for 1-2 days and people came after me. Don't stop. I thought I was wasting my time. I thought I was just sharing stories, and it's true. So do not wait for validation. Do not think that growth happens all at once. Growth, you don't harvest the day you plant. It grows into maturity, and it bear fruits. And try to track your your steps, try to track your growth. What that helps you to do, if I'm saying the same thing that Dr. Sumayya is saying, is that you have something to a visual representation of what what can keep you going on the days good things are bad. Because it's very easy to say, oh, I've not done this, I've not done that, but it's because you didn't document the things you've done. If you've documented the things you've done, every time you go back to that little journal to see your journey so far, you will get encouraged irrespective, because some people too are unfortunate to find themselves in a toxic environment where nobody is going to be there to speak up for them. So you have to have that, so that it can help you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sumayya. That was really a powerful message. And my Ibironke,
Yes, ma'am.
told to balance it all. We are often told to be everything in one. What truth have you learned about managing purpose, passion, and family without losing yourself?
I've learned that balancing it all is a myth. At some point in time, something will demand more attention than the other. And if you're trying to give 100% to everything, it does not work that way. Something will suffer for something. So I would rather work with what you'll call, some people will call integration, I would call it alignment. Recognize my purpose per time. There were times when all I could be was a wife and a mother managing to hold down a job. There was a time when I had enough time to look at my purpose, find my passion, and I could pay attention to it. So if you have, for anyone who's navigating life, especially for us women who like to pride ourselves as being multitaskers, we burn out easily because we assume we can handle everything at the same time. You cannot handle everything at the same time. There will always be something or some things that are more important, more urgent, and demand more attention. So that season of your life is what you should come to terms with and deal with that season the best that you can. That's how you thrive without looking to the outside world that you're actually struggling. Some days, purpose is what takes your time, is what is important. Some days, family is what takes your time. Some days, you need to upskill, you're going back to school. And some days, it's just rest. It's just rest. I had a season when I didn't used to do social functions because I needed to be at home over the weekend to spend time with my family. I'm in a season where if you invite me to a wedding at 8 a.m. on a Monday right now, I will show up there fully dressed. Life, faces, and seasons. At that time, I wasn't trying to be at those weddings while still struggling with my home because something was more important than the other. So the truth is, you only lose yourself when you don't honor your rhythm. That's when you lose yourself. Set gentle boundaries for yourself, stick to those boundaries, and allow your passion to favorably coexist with your life without competing and pulling you in different directions. And that's how I've been able to deal with purpose, passion, and family with a lot of grace.
Wow, thank you so much. Do we need to pay for this session, please? For both speakers, do we need to pay for this session? Because I think these are life-changing discussions that we are having, because people judge us differently. People judge us based on their own time and season, and not realizing, not putting us in context, right? A mother who is going to school, you are expecting her to wake up and cook the food herself. She shouldn't warm the food because husband wants to eat the food while it's hot and fresh, forgetting that she needs to go to school that morning. It doesn't work like that. And I think it still all boils down to that grace. We need to be graceful to ourselves. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to find out who really we are and what this season in our life, what does it demand of us? What can wait till later? What should be done now? And what can take a little bit of my time without, as a very good compromise. I think I'm really happy to be actively involved in this session. So to Sumayya, reclaiming brilliance, what does that phrase sound to you personally, and how has it shown up in your journey? Because I know you are a very brilliant person. I know you are a goal getter, and this question is a good one for you.
If they're hyping me, okay. So I think, to be honest, reclaiming brilliance, I would say it's about remembering the parts of myself I pushed aside because life, culture, or expectation made me feel like they were too much. So there was a time when being smart or curious or ambitious, especially as a girl, as a northern girl, was treated like a personality flaw. So most times you're told to soften it down, tone it down, just make yourself comfortable for others. So reclaiming brilliance for me is the moment I have stopped apologizing for the lights I carry. So, and to be honest, I've had, and this is me being a bit vulnerable, I've had people dislike me, genuinely dislike me, simply because they just felt I was too audacious for their comfort. And the funny thing is, I went to a military secondary school, so I don't get intimidated easily. So, because I feel I have seen it all as a young girl. So, growing up, I was bold, I was curious, but I was also very shy, and I didn't talk so much. So when I'm reclaiming, like when I look at reclaiming brilliance, it means taking back the parts of myself I had to hide because they made other people feel uncomfortable. So, but then here's the twist. I think I have grown. I have learned also that brilliance is not just about shining on your own. It's also about making sure that you're not shining alone, you're carrying others with you, about making space for new voices. And you acknowledge that, okay, I know I can take up the space, but then let me help you take some of that space with me, and not in an arrogant way, but you're very self-aware, you're very grounded, and my light is not a threat to you, it's an invitation. So as the older I get, the more intentional I am letting, and I'm very girly girl like. So I want to let also other women shine with me, not just beside me, sometimes even in front of me. And so those are the things I am learning along the line, and hoping that we grow with that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Sumayya, for this lovely piece. I think for every parent or for every sister or brother who has a girl child back home, you should take this message back to them. Tell them not to be apologetic for being brilliant. Tell them not to be apologetic for carrying so much grace. Because if I can relate 100% with what Sumayya is saying, coming from the North, I'm from the North as well. Not so many people have the opportunity of knowing, you are tamed, you are almost tamed for the men folks, they expect you not to talk too much. And I still have something that a classmate of mine told me while I was in the university then at my younger age, before I went back to medical school. And they said, you have so much audacity that no man will marry you. And I looked at myself and said, I thought this should be what will attract people to me. Would you not rather see your daughter? How many men are proud of their daughters on stage who are timid, with their head lagging, their face sagging, oh no, I would love my daughter to walk on that stage wearing a red lipstick and a very high heel, just like Mrs. Semowo, and a long dangling hair. I would want her to walk with pride, and I would tell them I'm her mother. I told Sumayya yesterday that I have pulled my son and told him this is how to behave. You know, I don't want to mention the name of the person I use, but I told him this is how I want you to behave. You know, you carry yourself. Don't allow anyone to intimidate you. Don't allow anyone to dim your light, because there are a lot of people that are going to be uncomfortable with the light you exude. You know, is blinding to them. Thank you so much, Dr. Sumayya, for that lovely piece. And to my Madam Ibironke, yes.
Okay.
What are the barriers, you know, as a woman leading in family and education spaces? What barriers did you face in being seen and heard? And how, and how did you turn those moments into growth for you?
My siblings and I were fortunate, first and foremost, to have a father who came before his time. We say that because he wasn't like the regular father of his generation. We were 4 girls before the last child, who's a boy, who was a bit younger than us. And my father empowered us to be who we wanted to be, regardless of what anyone around us felt about it. As long as it was about your success, your growth, and what you wanted to do to achieve, he will back you up. So we grew up with that confidence. He taught us to read and to speak. Way back, my father had seen speaking as the greatest form of influence that you can have. So I grew up with that background. Now, for me, I sharpened my voice.
Can you hear her?
Yeah, no, Madam Ibironke, are you there with us?
Okay, yes, I'm back with you. Thank you.
Yes, but your volume is a little bit low. I think you have to turn it on a little.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Well, it's still quite low, like quite low for us in the studio, and I would think it's the same thing for the audience.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I need to, maybe you'll circle back to Dr. Sumayya while I come back into the studio.
Okay. Thank you. So, Dr. Sumayya, just a bonus for everyone that is listening to us. How has been your journey in grad school? We're talking about a lot of things about communication, about public health, and around about parenting. How has been your journey, you know, as a woman who, of course, married with children and in grad school? You know, how has been your journey? What are the lessons? What are the take home? What do you want to tell those ladies who are aspiring to enter your shoe but don't know how to do it?
So I think the first thing I would say is know what you want and don't follow the crowd. Know what you want, because I think just a little background of my journey, it's been blood, tears, and sweat, to say the least. But it's been also been the most fulfilling, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And so how did I even get into grad school? First, I was a practicing clinician. I left the clinic, and I transitioned into public health, and I felt it wasn't enough. So I looked for what I wanted, and I pursued it. It wasn't easy because a lot of people just felt I was just too ambitious. You're already doing this, you're already doing that. But then I had an end goal. And so when I was practicing as a clinician, I saw that there was a gap because I was practicing in the northeastern parts of Nigeria. So I was seeing patients that were of low literacy level. So, and I saw that there was a gap with the effect of them being low, with the low literacy in their health outcomes. So there was the direct effect. So it just makes a lot of sense. The more you don't understand, then you would have like poorer health outcomes. And after an MPH, doing a master's, I was doing a residency program in family medicine. And I knew that I wanted to make a difference, but that part was not the part that was going to give me that. And there was, at that stage, there was a lot of the JAPA syndrome going to the UK. And I'm sure Dr. Sheris already knows this story, so I'm just gisting the audience. And I had bought my PLAB 1 exams, which is very difficult to get a date. I was already ready to go and continue my family physician training in the UK. And just 1 week to the dates, I canceled the exams, and everybody thought I was crazy. Why would you want to? And I just knew that I wanted to do a PhD. And when everybody asked me, okay, you're going for epidemiology, that's the most common things that doctors go for. I'm like, no, I am looking for a behavioral health PhD. And it was something that was not very common with doctors. And I think I'm one of the first in my department, like medical doctor, doing that. So why am I saying that? Sometimes create your own path. Just be that audacious to create your own path, and know what you want. Do not just wait for everything to be handed. Will it be difficult? Of course it will be difficult, but can you do it? You will definitely be able to do it if you put your mind to it. So I hope that helps someone. And another thing that I want to tell people is mentoring. I am very, very big on mentoring. I have been very fortunate. I don't talk about my story without being grateful for the amazing, amazing mentors that have mentored me. So I always look at it that I have to give it back. So I'll always be open to mentoring. And peer mentoring, I think people underestimate peer mentoring. When we talk about mentoring, people look at it from like top to bottom or bottom to top. So peer mentoring, it's something that is also very good. So look for mentors, invest in mentoring, and I think the sky will just be the starting point.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that personal bit with us. And for all our audience, you heard her loud and clear. You have to create your own path. You know, it's still the same thing we're talking about. Don't copy anyone. Don't look for validation. You know, imagine after, you know, what it means to reach a level where you're writing PLAB 1 means you must have written the English aspect of it, which is a committed step, right? In the pathway of becoming a UK certified medical doctor. Having booked for the exams, and then just a week to that exams, she canceled it. Why? Because she was listening to her inner voice. You know, something was telling her, this is not it. This is not it. And she didn't take it. Did she take a step back? Yes. Did she try to follow what she wants? Yes. And, you know, down in the journey, what this should teach us, I would think, is that, you know, it's not too late to pick up on the things you loved. I went to medical school after completing human anatomy. In short, it's the same thing. When you want to move further, people would think you are crazy. In short, people told me I'm crazy. Instead of me to do a master's and continue with what I'm doing, I'm not going to get married. And people will say that to you, of course, especially coming from the northern part of Nigeria. You're not going to get married. You're going to get old in school. You know, a lot of things. You know, people will come with their own opinion. But you have to know what you need. And that's also the place where mentors come to play. Because if you've got a mentor, those are people that will support, you know, mentors believe in you. But also you have to give them a reason to believe in you. If you don't give them a reason to believe with you, anything you tell them looks like the yesterday story you told them that you've swept under the carpet. So yes, doctors, as humans who aspire to grow and become something in life, you have to have the audacity to embrace change and listen to your inner voice. Now, on a quick note, Sumayya, can you just give us a short message to every single person in every aspect that you've spoken about, especially in leadership and public health and pursuing your dreams? What is that one last thing that you want to tell people, as a take home for them?
Okay, so as a woman, use your voice fully, use your voice boldly, use your voice authentically, and you can be anything you want to be. You can be anything. If you think it and believe it, you can be it. So,
all right. Thank you so much for staying through to our discussion and giving us all the lovely hints and life-changing thoughts. And Dr. Amaka, I can see you back on stage. I'm sure you are here to take the baton from my hand, and with all pleasure, I give it back to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you very much. It has been a wonderful conversation. And in fact, I've been troubleshooting quite a bit. I noticed that we are not streaming on LinkedIn. We're streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So I just created a new stream so that we'll finish the Global Awards so that we can capture that on LinkedIn, right? So even though this is on YouTube and Facebook, we want our audience from LinkedIn to also be able to enter. So that's what I was doing. And I've set that up. So if you're listening to me, and I guess you are, all you have to do is to just join on LinkedIn with the events that will just start really soon. The link is going to be in the chat. Let me ask Ikenna to put the link in the chat before we leave. So let's put this in the chat. Put in the chat. So that way we can have that award and have it captured. So thank you so much for the wonderful discussions. Thank you for holding on to the mic. Thank you for just really sharing all of those knowledge. So for our awardees that are coming up, I already shared with you a new link. So I still see you at the back of the stage here, but I just shared a new link, which is where we are transferring to. You can check the email. I emailed it to you. The people I had on WhatsApp, I also sent it on WhatsApp, just so you are aware. So I'll be ending this stream right now, and then I'll just transition. All you have to do is to search my name on LinkedIn or YouTube or ScholarUP on Facebook, and you'll be able to join. Thank you so much, Dr. Sumayya. Thank you, Dr. Ellen. Thank you, my Ibironke, for being here. I think her network eventually kicked her out, but that's great. So let me end this stream.